subscribe. Darling Radio. Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Let me get holistic. Let's get holistic in here.
Hey Tariq, how's it going, man?
What's up, holistic? Why you catfishing as a woman, man?
Ah, man, you say this every time. Uh, Tariq, I got suspended. It's just my girl's account. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
Um,
right. That damn girl, dude. Stop it.
all right, well, I'll just give you my opinion. I feel like we agree on a lot. We usually do.
Okay. Like
You
what?
give me a
Like
couple minutes usually before you kick me. So I'm curious. You know how the African people, the Somalis and stuff, they all have their myths about Africa. Like whatever they say a lot of stuff. Like they created everything. I'm curious if the FBA's have any like esoteric historical beliefs about American history. Because from my point of view, the Republicans that I run with, we don't really believe in American history, like you guys at all, in any way. And I'm talking about like the Quinametson, the mound builders, the bones they try to hide about like the 9 foot tall people, the war between the red beard giants and the black beard giants, which I believe was your people versus the Aryans initially. And I'm curious if y'all have any takes on that.
there's a lot of myths and things like that about the Aboriginal people, but we were this America was full of black Aboriginal tribes. This white people like Constantine Raphanes proved that. Leo Warner proved that. And
What was
so
that name? I want to write that.
yeah,
Constantine Frobisher.
Raphanes, Constantine Raphanes. He was
Rafinesque.
yeah, in the 1800s, he was one of the first major historians. He came from France, and I think he was living in Ohio. And genius white guy. And they praised his genius. He was very instrumental in the Smithsonian documenting things and documenting different plant species and doing a lot of anthropological work. And one thing that he brought to them, he started telling the truth about black people here. He was like a genius until he started telling the truth about black people. He was like, "Yeah, this flower, this is a brand new flower species." They were, "Oh God, you're a genius."
Hmm.
And by the way, I discovered these new bird species. "Oh God, you're the smartest guy ever." And by the way, all these black people, they were here for thousands of years. There's a bunch of these black folks who were running around here. There were a bunch of wild Negro tribes, and they were like, "Oh, you're a little eccentric there. Let's not go overboard." So yeah, you
Yeah,
have
so I would love to have. I'm not gonna like try to take up all your time, but I have a very large podcast. I would like to talk about whether FBAs are Christian and these issues further on American history. Because I'm not saying anyone is better than anybody, but they're trying to put the native quote Native American Indians above us in all ways, in every way, whatever. And frankly, I don't even care what they have to say. We built this. Y'all did too. We did it too. And the Native Americans, they were scalping our women and, sacrificing them to the pain gods. So that's how I feel about it. And frankly, I know you have primary sources, and I would like to compare and talk about the Smithsonian and what they're doing because they find these things. They write the write ups about the guy you just said. I'm sure they were praising him. But,
yeah.
then they just lose all the artifacts and then they cordon off the Grand Canyon, which there are entrances to Agartha there. We could go inside of the Earth, perhaps. I know about the entrances. Do you know about the time before the moon and the oral histories of the Hopis about your people?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. The Hopi people, they had an Arabic chant that they are the European explorers or the European archaeologists. It's hard for them to explain why one of their chants is in damn Arabic that they've been saying for. And I think one of their symbols looks like the star and the crescent, like Islam, which kind of proves that there was some type of correspondence or trade with Arabs or Black Muslims for years, based on some of the documents that were coming out of Spain and Europe, saying that there were some Black Moors who were trading with them back and forth. So it's a deep history. It's a very deep history. But thank you so much. Let me get Nikki the God. What's up, beloved?
Hello, Tariq and family. I just wanted to talk about lineage, and I also wanted to quick make a comment about Africans wanting to Africanize us.
Yes.
So you are correct about Africans wanting to Africanize us so badly, but because when they want to celebrate an achievement, they always lead by their lineage. Like a Jamaican person accomplished this, a Nigerian person accomplished that. It's the same story with them. And also, many of the Africans in my city, they approach me by performing little lineage checks on me, asking what the meaning of my name is and things like that. Even when I make it clear of who I am, they want to tell me that I look like I could be African.
Oh, they love. Oh yeah.
Oh, they loved it, yeah, and they do that based on my skin complexion or whatever. I don't care. And this is when I have solid proof of who my family is. I have pictures. I have pictures. I have documents, everything. But moving off of that, I would like to quick talk about our lineage over here on American soil. Just wanted to compliment the family, everybody in here, everybody in this movement. The reparations movement has proven to be powerful and filled with passionate people of our lineage. I just wanted to let everybody know how much I appreciate the hard work our people have applied, and it's apparent that most of us want the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's understood that we are descendants of American chattel slaves, no matter how we label it. It won't be that hard to prove. We are foundational Black Americans. And if somebody doesn't want to use foundational, I guess they can say Native Black Americans. And some people attach freedmen for legal status.
Right.
And I feel like foundational Black Americans is airtight just because we are foundational and we built this country. We are the same people who we are, where we come from, how we got to be who we are. Our ethnogenesis can easily be confirmed. Our census is a great representation of our lineage, and it proves that we were here before them. It gives us a legal claim for reparations. Lineage means I can say and prove that my great grandfather was a slave on a particular plantation. This is airtight no matter what side issues are present. The
Mm-hmm.
masses already know who we are. We are special. We are chosen. They know this about us, even if some of us don't.
Yeah.
That is why our lineage has been selected by design to be the permanent underclass in order to benefit the white power system. They understand our power. So, if we want to obtain reparations, we will have to continue focusing on and defending what is our lineage. Dr. Claude Anderson taught us about how America and white supremacy had these plans for us, and immigration was meant to assist with that. So it is my official position that we keep the conversation on lineage.
Yeah.
And I'll land with that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, beloved. Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, we got to stick to that lineage thing. Definitely got to stick to lineage. And again, we have to learn how to. We have to understand how to use terms interchangeably. We talk about culture. We're talking about foundational Black Americans. That's a daily thing. We're talking about our foundational Black American culture regularly. Now, when we get in these courtrooms and start talking about the legalities of what needs to be done and given to foundational Black Americans, then we start using the term freedmen because that's already a legal status. That's already in paperwork. That's already in treaties. A foundational Black American and a freedman is the exact same thing. We just use one when it comes to the legal um, things that we're trying to achieve. So the everything is already there. We just have to use the tools that's there and use everything that's at our immediate disposal. All we got to do is get on code around those couple of things, and we're good. We're good to go. But when people try to go all the way around the block and then make these real convoluted arguments, trying to circle around and just make things way more complicated than they should be, I want y'all to look at those people with suspicions. Look at those with suspicions because they might have another agenda there. Let's get Sweets in here. Let's get Miss Sweets in the building. Sweets. And should I get RJ, RJ the Tether? Because RJ, I don't know what RJ be talking about. Um, I might get RJ in. Let's get Sweets and then we'll get Trey. Let's get some of these sisters in here. Sweets.
Hello.
Hey, Sweets, how are you, dear?
I'm blessed, Brother Tariq. How you doing?
I'm good. What's on your mind, beloved?
Awesome. I just wanted to just touch on 2 points. It blows my mind how Africans and other foreign folks but they emphasize on how great Africa is and how old it is. But nobody ever looks at the bigger picture that we melanated, carbonated people are millions of years old. Everybody thinks history just started with slavery, and then all of a sudden that's when life started. Like, we are millions of years old. That means
Mm-hmm.
we've been on this earth for a long ass time. That means we've traveled this land and waters over and over again. So it just blows my mind when Africans are like, "Oh, you there's no way there was black people in America, in the North Americas and in that area. How could it not?" And we're millions of years old. The second point I wanted to make was when you all were discussing the DNA test. And I want people like Idris to understand that that DNA test, when it says percentage wise, like even if it says you're 60% Nigerian, that's just a probability of percentage. That's not from that exact area. Like you say, like Africa wasn't named Africa. Those countries over there didn't even exist. So
Mm-hmm.
even if you, like you said, you have so much percentage of European, like you could have all of these breakdowns of European, you could have African, you could have whatever the hell it is, with never leaving North America, because like you said, people traveled from all over the place and came to these lands and mixed and matched, and and then that just plays back into my point of we're millions of years old, so there's nothing stopping us from already being over here mixing and matching with whoever came along. And then that's how our genetic makeup or our DNA makeup, like you said, we had the ethnogenesis because we mixed and matched for millions of years, thousands of years on this land. So when he says, "Oh, that means you're from Nigeria," or, "Oh, you're from South Africa," that's not what that means. That just means there's a 13% probability one of your ancestors came from that area of Africa. That doesn't mean you come from South Africa. So I just wanted to throw that in there because we are the people. We are God's people. So being that we're millions of years old, there was nothing stopping us from coming everywhere. Thank you for letting me speak, Tariq. I appreciate you.
Thank you, dear. Thank you so much. Miss Tracy D, are you ready? Miss Tracy, are you ready?
I'm ready. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I'm great. There was a caller. I'm actually new to these spaces, so I heard him. I'm here in Chicago, and I heard him say something about a phone number that was posted. I don't know where I can find that number to report to report people that are harboring the immigrants.
Mm,
My daughter lives over in the Jackson Park area, where they are building the Obama Library. And before they began to break ground over there, they started moving a lot of black people out of that area,
mm-hmm,
raising their rent, doing the gentrification. And a lot of those people couldn't afford to even live in that area anymore. And then all of a sudden, they started moving a bunch of immigrants over there
mm,
after they moved all these black people out. My daughter lives in a building around in that area, and it is filled with immigrants now.
mm.
One of the immigrants literally came on her porch and stole her dog,
Damn.
just took the dog
But he
and
put some
claimed the
gravy.
dog as his.
They done put some gravy on that dog. They done probably barbecue.
Well, we actually got the dog back about a week and a half later when
Oh,
he
good, good,
came
good.
out and just started walking the dog. And they don't speak English. They use their cell phones to try to translate. And he kept putting in his phone that the dog was his because he took the dog to the vet because she couldn't sleep. Well, she couldn't sleep because she's in an unfamiliar area. You just took her.
Yeah.
He just took the dog.
Wow.
But to say that they are trying to do a increase, what is it, 300 bill? How much is it, babe, that they're trying to raise our property taxes? So we have this mayor, this black mayor that we've just put in, 300 million property tax increase. But now they're trying to have a committee where they're refusing to get the immigrants out. And
Oh,
I'm
wow.
just so confused. Why would we have to pay more in property taxes, but you want to harbor immigrants?
Yeah, it's getting crazy out here. So that's why there's such a backlash. People are tired. People are tired, and they didn't expect black people to say, "Hey, we ain't really with this immigrant thing. This is a little bit too much for us." They didn't expect a critical mass of us to go that direction, and we did, which is good. Trey Day, what's up, brother? So you get Trey Day. What's up, Trey? Let's unmute your mic, sir. Unmute that mic, Trey. Let's unmute that mic, Mr. Trey. All right. Okay. Mr. Trey is not saying nothing. Let me get you up out of here, Mr. Trey. Let's get Rat Cheese in here. Rat Cheese. All right, Rat Cheese, you got 10 seconds. I don't want y'all to slow the momentum down of the broadcast. So while we're waiting on Rat Cheese, let's get the in-house tether. Let's get Reform RJ, Reform Justice.
What's up, Tariq?
What's good, man? How you doing, RJ?
I'm really good. I wanted to say two things, but you need to make a post about, the historians you just mentioned and list them.
Yeah,
And L had the Danites too. Because anytime you mention them, he goes, I was like, oh, I need to write this down. And then I forget it. So you need to make a post about those guys. What was the historian you mentioned to that Constantine or
yeah, Constantine Rafinesque.
lost Constantine for next? Yeah, you should. Yeah, you
Yeah,
should make a list of those guys and post them so people can delve into that history a little more.
yeah, and the
Um,
other thing you just mentioned is Eldad the Danite. He was a early black Jewish person who became a celebrity in Europe around the 8th or 9th century. He was the one who brought a lot of the knowledge of Judaism to Europe. Eldan the Danite. He told them he came from a Jewish tribe in East Africa and had a real deep, rich history. But what's up? What else is on your mind, RJ?
yeah. What else on my mind is that I feel like if you're a leftist in the chat, if you're leftist in the group, stop looking for a high standard from democratic politicians, right? Because the right clearly doesn't care about a rapist, a racist, a anti-constitutionalist, and a guy who wants to use the military to shoot protesters. If they don't care about those four things, and the generals are scared of Trump, then you shouldn't care about the little and petty small. Compared to wanting to destroy the Constitution and shoot and bring in the military into mainland America and shoot protesters.
Okay, RJ. Bottom line, your cousin's about to get rounded up, brother. They're about to get your cousins, bro. That's a long way to say, oh, can you niggas stop them from getting my cousins? That's a long way to say that. They're going to get your cousins, brother. Your cousins ain't going to be able to come over and kick it. They're going to get them up out of here. That's what it is. All the fear mongering, that ain't working, brother. They about to get your folks. Trey Day, are you ready? You want to try it again, Trey Day? All right. Trey Day ain't, okay, Trey Day ain't saying nothing. All right, let's get Allison. Let's get Allison Shauna in the building. Miss Allison, hop on. Allison, unmute your microphone, ma'am. All right, Allison, we're just waiting on you to get it together. Go ahead, Allison. You can speak, Allison. Unmute your microphone, ma'am. Okay, while we're waiting on Allison to get it together, let's get, y'all raise your hand if you're ready to talk. If you're ready to talk, let's raise your hand. All right. Let's get focused. Let's get focused in here. Focus raised the hand, so let's get focused in here. Then we'll get Kai. But Focused, hop in. Waiting on Focused.
Hey, Tariq, can you hear me?
Brother Nasheed.
Tariq, hello?
Go ahead, Focused.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, dear.
Okay, thank you so much, Tariq. I've been trying to get up here for a long time now. Um, I just wanted to say that a lot of these tethers and these Africans and Arabs, they play on the fact that they know that a lot of us have not lived abroad. So they think that we're ignorant and we don't know anything about them. And they feel that they know more about us than we do them.
Right.
So when I lived abroad, I lived in Europe for 3 years. And when you live over there, you actually see them in their true form and who they really are. And one thing about these immigrants, these Africans and these Arabs, they are basically like the roaches of the world. And I mean, that it is what it is. They have no type of significance really, and they like to attach on to either European culture or Black culture, a culture that is doing something to lift them up. And we as Black people in America, foundational Black Americans, we need to cut that slavery tie, saying that we came from Africa and we were from Africa and imported it over here for slavery. We need to stop that narrative, because as long as we hold on to that narrative that we once were in Africa, they're going to always think that we're descendants from them. When actuality, slavery started, it started here on American homeland. Because we think every time we think of slavery, we think ships. Okay, but
Yeah.
listen, there were ships on the Mississippi. There were ships on the Colorado River. Just because we were enslaved here and in bondage here doesn't mean that we had to come from Africa to get here. And if you really think about it, economic wise and business wise, what sense does it make to take some people from Africa who knows nothing about America and bring them all the way over here? Now, remind you, this is 1600s. It ain't no motors on these ships or anything. They say they packed us all together, right, and in chains. And when we got over here, half of us was already sick, dead in our own feces and piss. And when they got us over here, they had to nurse us back to health and then sell us. Like, that doesn't even make sense. And then they had to teach them Africans over there how to tend the land, because this is a whole nother land over here. Whole different crops, whole different weather, whole different soil. So it doesn't make sense when there was already indigenous people here, which is us. We were already here on this land, already cultivating this land. We were never in Africa from the get-go. So when the European came over here, they saw us here already cultivating tobacco leaves, cotton, whatever we were doing. They already saw us doing gold mining. We have diamond mines over here. We have oil. We have corn. Corn originated as native here in America. We already had that here. And so that's where slavery started here. And we were never from Africa at all. Now, Africans and the Europeans are working together with this narrative. Same thing with Marcus Garvey, the Jamaican. He came over here, wrote a letter. He has a letter to the KKK. You can Google it right now. He wrote a letter to the KKK saying that, hey, we are in agreement with one thing, that the black Negro needs to go back to Africa. So let's work together. Okay.
Yeah.
Their whole plan. I'm sorry, Sari, go ahead.
Go ahead, but yeah, I was agreeing with that, sis. And let me land your plane because I got to get some more calls in here. But thank you so much, sis. Let's get Kai in here.
Brother Nasheed, how's it going?
I'm good, Kai. How are you, bro?
Great, great. I was just doing a little bit of research, and I heard about a couple of the enslaved Africans from Madagascar being brought over here to the United States.
Uh-huh.
And I heard that a lot of the slave masters used to label them as Native American also. Could you elaborate on that? Is that like true or not?
So the ones that they brought over, they would label them Native Americans.
Yeah, like the ones from Madagascar were brought over here, the Malagasy people.
Yeah. Um, I haven't heard that one where they labeled them Native Americans, but yeah, when some of the Spanish, when they came over, they would document how they saw Native Americans who looked just like the black people over in that they saw in Africa or Ethiopia, as they called it.
Mm,
Document,
okay.
and that's why many of them black translators with them. Almost all explorers, they would have some kind of black guide, healer, or translator with them. Columbus, he had his ships, they were owned by Moors. The first person to really, who was a foreigner, to trek through the interior of North America was Estevanico, the Moors, black guy. He was working with the Spanish. So we've always had that footprint here. But go ahead, brother.
Okay, thank you, brother. That's
Thank you.
all I wanted to know.
All right.